This is Daily Homeless News, where tell the stories no one else will. San Francisco is world-renowned for its breathtaking views of the Golden Gate Bridge, the timeless charm of its cable cars, and the vibrant mix of cultures found throughout neighborhoods like Chinatown, the Mission District, and Haight-Ashbury. For travelers and documentary filmmakers alike, the city offers a dynamic blend of iconic landmarks and buzzing street life. Yet just beyond the postcard scenes and bustling tourist paths lies a sobering reality. San Francisco is grappling with a deep-rooted and complex homelessness crisis. Every night, thousands of people in San Francisco are left to sleep on sidewalks in their vehicles or beneath makeshift shelters. While homelessness is a widespread issue across the United States, it feels especially jarring in a city celebrated for its wealth and cutting-edge innovation. Soaring housing prices, a critical lack of genuinely affordable homes, and a maze of social and economic hurdles have made securing stable shelter nearly out of reach for many. In this episode focused on homeless in America, we dive deep into San Francisco's crisis, where things stand today, the root causes behind the surge, and how city leaders are responding. Most importantly, we hear firsthand from those living this reality. We'll also draw comparisons with other major cities and consider what real, lasting solutions could look like in the fight against homelessness. According to the 2024 point-in-time count, around 8,323 individuals in San Francisco are experiencing homelessness, with 2,900 of them living without shelter, spending their nights in tents, vehicles, or directly on the city's sidewalks. With a population nearing 875,000, this gives San Francisco one of the highest per capita homelessness rates in the country. It's important to understand the distinction between sheltered and unsheltered. Sheltered individuals have temporary access to emergency shelters or transitional housing, while unsheltered people sleep in areas never meant for habitation, under freeway overpasses, on park benches, or in alleyways. In neighborhoods such as the Tenderloin south of Market and parts of the Mission District, the crisis is impossible to miss. Rows of tents, sleeping bags along curbs, and makeshift shelters crafted from cardboard and tarps tell a story of deep-rooted challenges, not a voluntary lifestyle, but a last resort. The visibility of homelessness in these areas underscores the severe gaps in the housing system and social safety nets. Residents, small business owners, and nonprofit organizations are left balancing concerns about health hazards, street safety, and sanitation, while still trying to treat unhoused individuals with dignity and care. Community responses range from heartfelt outreach to growing frustration. Some advocate for stronger policies and the removal of encampments, while others push back, insisting that without affordable housing, those actions merely shift the problem elsewhere. Many locals are concerned about sidewalk accessibility, neighborhood safety, and the city's image, especially with rent for a modest one-bedroom often exceeding $3,000. But beneath the statistics are people, many of whom were once housed and stable. A job loss, a health crisis, or an unexpected emergency was all it took to send their lives spiraling. Have you ever stopped to think what it would be like to lose your home in one of America's most expensive cities? That's the harsh reality thousands are living with every day. San Francisco is known for having some of the highest housing prices in the country. Renting a modest one-bedroom apartment can cost anywhere between $3,000 and $3,500 a month, well beyond the reach of many low and middle income earners. The situation becomes even more difficult due to a severe shortage of affordable or subsidized units. Long waiting lists, strict eligibility requirements, and a lack of new low-income developments make it nearly impossible for many to secure stable housing. At the heart of the crisis lies a simple imbalance. There just aren't enough affordable units to go around. Although the city requires that a portion of new construction be reserved for below market rate housing through its inclusionary housing program, the pace of development has fallen behind the rising demand. This shortfall leads to fierce competition for limited options and drives rental prices even higher.
Well, the price of the lowest, the cost of the lowest, cheapest hotel room was $550 a month years ago. Now it's gone up to $1,500 to $2,000 a month, and I don't get that much. Even the retirement check I've got, the SSI doesn't even come close. So I'm trying to get a hold of a discount room, and we've gotten the donations for that. And even though we've got donations constantly, I still haven't seen the rooms being built to accommodate thousands of homeless people that are trying to get one.
For many residents teetering on the edge, a mix of economic and personal challenges often pushes them into homelessness. Irregular gig work, part-time jobs, and unstable industries contribute to income volatility. A sudden health issue or family emergency can wipe out savings overnight, forcing impossible choices between rent, medical care, or basic needs. Survivors of domestic abuse without safe alternatives or support may find themselves with no place to turn once they flee danger. Health issues are a constant shadow for many living without a home. While not every individual facing homelessness struggles with addiction or mental illness, a large number wrestle with serious health complications. From chronic diseases left unmanaged to mental health conditions that go untreated for years, the lack of consistent medical care often pushes people further from stability. These challenges don't just happen alongside homelessness, they fuel it. In San Francisco, the link between health and housing is undeniable, and any honest conversation about being homeless in America must confront how these two crises feed into each other, creating a cycle that's incredibly hard to escape. One of the central pillars shaping San Francisco's approach to homelessness is the housing first model. This framework is built on the belief that securing long-term, stable housing must come first, before tackling challenges like substance use, mental health issues, or employment training. Unlike older systems that required sobriety or participation in programs prior to housing, Housing First prioritizes immediate access to shelter. Once someone is off the street and into a home, they're in a much better place to engage with the support services available. San Francisco operates multiple navigation centers that differ from traditional shelters in key ways. They're designed to reduce barriers by allowing people to stay with their partners, pets, and belongings, factors that often prevent individuals from seeking shelter. These centers also provide on-site services such as case management, legal aid, and job placement, making them a more flexible and comprehensive option. While standard emergency shelters remain available, many people experiencing homelessness find them overcrowded, overly strict, and lacking privacy. Launched during the height of the pandemic, Project Room Key repurposed hotels and motels as temporary housing for vulnerable homeless individuals. This emergency effort minimized the spread of COVID-19 among unhoused populations. Its successor, Project Home Key, expanded the effort by purchasing these buildings and converting them into longer-term housing, cutting through the red tape often tied to new construction. Still, this program depends heavily on sustained funding and strong long-term oversight. The voters took a bold step with Proposition C, a ballot measure that taxes businesses earning over $50 million annually. The revenue, projected in the hundreds of millions, goes directly toward housing, mental health care, shelters, and supportive services. The biggest hurdle now lies in execution, making sure those funds don't stall in bureaucracy, but instead turn into real solutions on the ground. As we continue shedding light on homelessness in San Francisco, we truly appreciate your support. If content like this speaks to you, take a moment to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel, Daily Homeless News. Your interaction helps us uncover deeper layers of the Homeless in America crisis, while also offering a window into the life, culture, and contrasts of cities around the globe. Together, we can highlight the voices and stories that often go unheard and bring long overdue attention to the realities hiding in plain sight. Many people assume homelessness follows a single pattern, but the truth in San Francisco is far more complex. Some individuals once held steady jobs and lived comfortably until a layoff or medical emergency tipped their lives into crisis. Others are escaping domestic violence or unstable home environments. Many face ongoing mental health challenges or physical disabilities that make long-term employment difficult. There are also those who work full-time but still can't make rent in a city where housing costs are among the highest in the country. Have you ever thought about how someone with a job, working day in and day out, could still end up living in a car or a shelter? It's a harsh reality for many, and it underscores how thin the line can be between stability and homelessness in a place like San Francisco. Even well-meaning support programs sometimes come with limitations that make them hard to use. Rules like curfews or bans on personal belongings can push people away. For instance, someone might rely on a pet for emotional support, but many shelters won't allow animals. Safety concerns, fear of theft, or the spread of illness are also reasons people avoid traditional shelters. That's why the navigation center approach is often seen as more effective. It lowers those barriers and builds a more welcoming, community-focused environment. Being homeless isn't just about lacking a roof. It's about the day-to-day exhaustion of not having a safe place to rest, no privacy, and no consistent address to receive mail or apply for jobs. Routine tasks, showering, washing clothes, charging a phone, become constant battles. Limited public transportation can make it hard to get to work or see a doctor. These challenges show why real, holistic support systems are essential, because people experiencing homelessness are more than statistics, they're human beings trying to make it through each day with dignity. New York. New York City has the highest number of homeless individuals in the United States, but the reality on the ground looks quite different from what you'd find in San Francisco. Thanks to the city's unique right to shelter law, the vast majority of New York's homeless population is housed in shelters each night. As a result, fewer people are seen sleeping on the streets, even though the system places a massive financial strain on the city, which is legally obligated to provide a bed for anyone in need. In contrast, San Francisco's lack of a similar law contributes to a more visible street population. Comparing these two cities reveals a striking contrast in public policy, societal attitudes, and how local real estate markets influence both the perception and the scope of homelessness. It's a powerful lens through which to better understand the broader crisis of being homeless in America. Los Angeles. Los Angeles County is home to over 60,000 people experiencing homelessness, many of them concentrated in high-profile areas like Skid Row. Much like San Francisco, LA struggles with a chronic lack of affordable housing and a high proportion of unsheltered individuals. But the differences emerge in the physical scale and administrative structure. LA stretches across a sprawling landscape, making it harder to coordinate outreach and deliver consistent support across its communities. Seattle. Seattle faces a rising tide of homelessness, driven by housing costs and growing inequality. Tent encampments have become more common, and harsh weather, rain, cold, and damp conditions adds to the challenge, similar to how foggy nights and sudden cold spells affect those living on San Francisco's streets. Like San Francisco, Seattle's booming tech economy has brought prosperity to some, while driving up prices and deepening the gap between income levels. From coast to coast, New York, Los Angeles, Seattle, and San Francisco, all these cities share the burden of sky-high housing costs and a severe shortage of affordable homes. Each city has taken different approaches to addressing homelessness, but the results show that localized efforts alone aren't enough. This nationwide pattern raises a pressing question: how much influence do national housing policies and broader economic trends have on homelessness at the city level? The recurring housing crises across these urban centers make it clear real change requires bold action, not just locally, but at the state and federal levels too. Addressing homelessness begins with boosting the supply of truly affordable housing. That means strengthening inclusionary housing policies so developers dedicate a larger share of units to below market rates, cutting through red tape to accelerate the construction process, and significantly increasing public funding for vouchers, supportive housing, and public developments. Transforming unused spaces, vacant hotels, outdated office buildings, abandoned storefronts into livable homes is another powerful strategy. San Francisco's efforts through Project HomeKey are commendable, but the scale must grow to keep pace with the rising number of people falling into homelessness each year. Affordable housing is just one piece. Without mental health care, employment programs, and accessible medical services, many housed individuals may still struggle to stay off the streets. The Housing First model is most successful when combined with comprehensive support, counseling for trauma or mental illness, job readiness training, addiction treatment, and legal support to help individuals navigate complex personal barriers. This approach depends on strong coordination between city agencies, nonprofits, and grassroots groups. Proposition C funding provides financial muscle, but it also comes with the responsibility to manage it transparently and efficiently to avoid bureaucratic stagnation. San Francisco's powerful tech industry and wealthy businesses play a role in this crisis, and they can be part of the solution. Some have invested through philanthropic efforts and job programs, but broader, more sustained engagement is needed. Developers and corporate coalitions often resist regulation, yet cooperation is vital if the city hopes to reverse housing insecurity and maintain a reliable workforce in such a high-cost environment. For travelers seeking meaningful experiences, San Francisco offers more than scenic beauty. It reveals the complexities of urban life in America. The homelessness crisis is a stark contrast to the city's global image as a hub of progress and innovation. Getting involved, whether by volunteering, visiting community art spaces, or simply learning about local initiatives, can transform your visit into something far more impactful than sightseeing alone. San Francisco's homelessness problem is deeply entrenched, rooted in decades of economic shifts, housing shortages, and policy missteps. But it's also a city pushing forward with bold reforms, strategic funding, and an army of community-driven advocates. While there is no overnight fix, there are solutions in motion. Each one, be it a housing voucher, a converted building, or a counseling program, forms part of a larger puzzle. What's needed is relentless effort across multiple fronts: immediate shelter options, long-term prevention strategies, and continued support for vulnerable populations. The Housing First strategy, the rollout of Proposition C funds, and the scaling up of Project HomeKey are all critical milestones. But sustaining momentum takes more than policy. It takes political will, consistent community pressure, and ongoing innovation. Tens of thousands of people remain on the edge, working adults, seniors, families, one paycheck away from living in their cars or on the sidewalk. As San Francisco looks ahead, the balance between short-term support like navigation centers and long-term change becomes ever more important. Can city leaders, corporate giants, and local communities keep up the fight? With San Francisco's resources and reputation for progressivism, there's reason to believe they can. you ever find yourself walking the streets of this iconic city, go beyond the postcard moments. Step into the neighborhoods often overlooked. Support a local cause. Visit a shelter. Learn the names and stories behind the tents. That kind of engagement, the kind that inspires and challenges, turns a visit into a shared human experience. This is Daily Homeless News, where tell the stories no one else will. New York City, a place where skyscrapers touch the clouds and dreams feel just within reach. Whether you've watched it on screen, heard it in lyrics, or walked its buzzing avenues, there's no question New York stands as a symbol of ambition, wealth, endless opportunity. Nicknamed the Empire State, this city is praised for its explosive growth, fast-paced energy, and legendary landmarks. But behind the glimmering lights and polished image lies a grittier, often overlooked reality. From the towering skyscrapers of Manhattan to the serene neighborhoods of Staten Island, we'll explore how different areas within New York State are uniquely impacted by homelessness. We'll meet individuals and families facing the harsh realities of life without stable housing, and hear from local officials and community leaders working tirelessly to implement solutions. How effective are the current government initiatives, and what more needs to be done to create lasting change? Throughout this travel documentary, we'll answer these questions and more, providing a comprehensive look at the homelessness crisis and the multifaceted approaches aimed at solving it.
Well, I guess people just moved on theater. Been in there a few times.
Homelessness in New York has reached its highest level since the Great Depression of the 1930s, with an estimated 350,000 people lacking stable housing as of August 2024. Each night, around 132,000 individuals seek shelter in the city's overwhelmed system, while countless others sleep on sidewalks, in subway stations, or rely on friends and strangers for a place to stay. Over the past 20 years, the homeless population has increased by 175%. A brief 25% decline occurred during the pandemic, driven by eviction bans and emergency rental aid. But the crisis has since returned with even greater urgency. Families account for an astonishing 71% of New York's shelter population, with nearly 46,000 children among them. Powerful indicator of the severe crisis gripping one of the wealthiest cities in the world. The ever-growing economic divide has only deepened the struggle for countless residents fighting to stay afloat. In this travel documentary, we'll take a closer look at the 10 cities across New York State most impacted by homelessness, examining the distinct challenges they face and the efforts underway to tackle this escalating emergency. Syracuse, while recognized as a significant city in New York State, has the smallest homeless population among its peers. Only about 25 to 30 individuals are reported to be sleeping on the streets or in shelters each night. Despite the relatively low figure, homelessness in Syracuse is still a pressing issue, largely fueled by ongoing economic struggles and a shortage of affordable housing. One particularly striking fact is that a notable portion of the city's homeless are military veterans, underscoring the challenges many face when transitioning back to civilian life. Local officials have rolled out multiple initiatives such as Housing First and from DA, both of which prioritize providing immediate shelter without requiring individuals to meet certain conditions beforehand. Despite these promising approaches, progress has been slower than in other cities on this list, largely due to limited funding and scarce resources. In Syracuse, support programs operate on a smaller scale, but the local community remains deeply dedicated to helping those in need. Staten Island. Though it's the smallest of New York City's 5 boroughs, Staten Island isn't immune to the growing homelessness crisis. With 216 individuals currently without stable housing, the challenge here is both real and pressing. The borough's lower population density may make homelessness less immediately apparent, but that doesn't lessen the urgency or the need for meaningful support. In recent years, Staten Island has made significant efforts to tackle homelessness by opening 3 new shelters that had been in development for several years. These facilities, located on Van Door Street, Highland Boulevard, and Tompkins Avenue, offer varying levels of support to those in need. The Van Door Street shelter is the largest, with a capacity to house up to 200 families, roughly 500 individuals. The other 2 shelters are designed to accommodate 50 women and 100 individuals, respectively. Complementing these initiatives is a non-profit organization known as People's Path, which plays a crucial role in delivering vital services to the homeless community on Staten Island, often stepping in to fill the gaps left by limited government resources. Albany, the capital of New York State, is celebrated for its deep-rooted history, striking landmarks like the New York State Capitol, and its standing as a center for government and higher education. Yet behind its image of innovation and advancement, Albany grapples with a troubling homelessness crisis, with approximately 750 people living without stable shelter. Escalating living expenses and a critical lack of affordable housing are major factors fueling this issue, painting a stark contrast between the city's economic drive and the daily struggles of many residents. This growing divide underscores the tension between prosperity and poverty in New York's capital. To address the escalating homelessness crisis, the state government launched the Albany Project Hope, an initiative designed to deliver rapid support to individuals facing housing insecurity. Despite its good intentions, the program, like many others in the social service sector, struggles with limited funding that hampers its overall effectiveness. When compared to nearby cities, Albany stands out with a disproportionately large homeless population for its size, especially in contrast to smaller cities like Syracuse. Rochester, once celebrated as a hub of industrial prowess and academic excellence, home to giants like Kodak and the prestigious University of Rochester, is now grappling with a pressing homelessness crisis. Currently, an estimated 83 individuals in the city lack stable housing. A stark reminder of the widening gap between Rochester's proud legacy and its modern-day social struggles. In recent months, homeless encampments have emerged as focal points for safety concerns, with incidents like fires posing threats to nearby neighborhoods. Although city officials have made efforts to transition unhoused individuals into shelters, many of these programs have stumbled due to inadequate funding and poor execution. A notable example is the closure of Peace Village, a well-known encampment that was dismantled without a clear backup plan for residents, leaving many with no option but to return to the streets. Brooklyn, famed for its cultural icons like the Brooklyn Bridge and Prospect Park, and known for its rich blend of neighborhoods, now shelters approximately 1,157 homeless individuals. As living expenses continue to climb, more low-income residents are being priced out of their homes, fueling a rise in homelessness across this storied borough. A significant portion of those on the streets are actually employed in low-wage positions, but their paychecks fall far short of covering rent in Brooklyn's increasingly unaffordable housing landscape. Despite initiatives by city officials to expand affordable housing, the relentless rise in property values and the pace of gentrification have made it nearly impossible to meet the growing demand. Social tensions continue to mount, particularly in neighborhoods like Bensonhurst, where protests have broken out over the placement of new homeless shelters. Many locals worry about the potential impact these facilities could have on the fabric of their communities. In Sunset Park, small business owners are voicing concerns as they deal with increasing problems, such as discarded needles and makeshift encampments lining the sidewalks. These developments underscore the growing divide between Brooklyn's economic growth and the harsh realities of homelessness that still weigh heavily on its most vulnerable residents. Queens, long hailed for its vibrant cultural tapestry and thriving immigrant communities, is now grappling with a growing homelessness crisis. Currently, 1,219 individuals in the borough are without stable shelter. Although Queens is considered one of New York City's more affluent areas, soaring rent prices have forced many hardworking residents onto the streets. What's especially troubling is that a large portion of the homeless population in Queens is actually employed, yet their wages fall far short of covering the borough's ever-increasing cost of living. While programs like transitional housing and rental assistance exist, they continue to fall short of addressing the escalating demand. In Queens, Community Districts 1 and 12 have become central hubs for migrant shelters, sparking concern among residents about the rapid establishment of homeless facilities in their communities. One particularly contentious example is the transformation of the Wyndham Garden Hotel in Ridgewood Park into a shelter, an action that has stirred tension among locals who feel sidelined from the decision-making process. Meanwhile, Jamaica Station has increasingly served as an overnight refuge for unhoused individuals, leading to discomfort among regular commuters. These situations underscore the ongoing challenge of balancing empathy with sustainable, community-informed solutions. Buffalo, the second largest city in New York State, known for its rich industrial heritage and close proximity to the majestic Niagara Falls, is currently facing a growing homelessness crisis that has impacted 1,432 individuals. The collapse of the manufacturing industry, paired with persistent unemployment and a decaying housing infrastructure, has left countless residents without secure housing. The city's brutal winters make the situation even more dire, as seasonal homelessness surges during the colder months. With emergency shelters frequently operating at full capacity, many people are left with no option but to endure the freezing conditions outside. Efforts to tackle the crisis, such as clearing homeless encampments in the downtown core, have largely fallen short. Those who are displaced often find themselves back on the streets, underscoring the severe shortage of long-term housing solutions and adequate shelter availability. Buffalo's ongoing battle with homelessness mirrors a wider challenge across upstate New York, where economic decline and a fraying social safety net continue to leave countless individuals at risk. The Bronx, despite its rich cultural legacy and recognition as the birthplace of hip-hop, holds a troubling distinction. It has the highest poverty rate in New York City and is home to one of its largest homeless populations, with approximately 1,458 individuals living without stable shelter. This contrast is striking. A borough celebrated for its artistic contributions and proud heritage is also a focal point of a worsening housing crisis. Generational homelessness is a particularly distressing issue, with many unhoused individuals being the children of parents who also faced life on the streets. This ongoing cycle of displacement paints a sobering picture of systemic struggle within one of the city's most iconic neighborhoods. Although the Bronx has the highest number of shelters among all boroughs in New York City, these facilities are frequently overcrowded and unable to meet the ever-increasing demand. Homeless encampments often resurface in public areas, such as parks and sidewalks, creating difficulties for nearby businesses. While government initiatives aim to move unhoused individuals into shelters, these efforts have largely fallen short. As quickly as one camp is cleared, another takes its place. This persistent cycle highlights the ongoing challenge of effectively tackling homelessness in the borough. Manhattan, the beating heart of New York City's financial and cultural life, is renowned for its iconic landmarks like Times Square and its skyline of soaring skyscrapers. Yet behind the glitz, it also harbors one of the city's most visible homeless populations. With over 4,000 people living without shelter, this reality underscores the stark economic divide within a borough that's home to 1.6 million residents. From subway platforms to public parks and busy street corners, unhoused individuals are a constant presence, an inignorable sign of the city's ongoing struggle to manage a deepening crisis. In an effort to manage the crisis, the city routinely conducts sweeps to remove homeless encampments from public spaces. Yet these actions tend to be more about appearances than addressing the root of the problem, providing only short-lived fixes while the underlying issues remain untouched. A vivid example of this can be found in the tunnel near the Hudson River in Upper Manhattan, which has evolved into a shadowy encampment littered with garbage and human waste. In this dim, forgotten space, several individuals have fashioned makeshift homes using old mattresses and bed sheets, creating a semi-permanent refuge beneath the city. Nearby residents, overwhelmed by blocked sidewalks and unbearable odors, often reroute their daily commutes just to avoid the area. Despite ongoing cleanup operations, the encampments keep returning, highlighting the city's failure to implement meaningful, lasting solutions. York City overview. At the top of the list is New York City itself, with a homeless population of about 4,140 individuals sleeping on the streets, in parks, or on the subway every night. Although New York operates the largest homelessness response program in the nation, the problem continues to worsen due to soaring living costs and widening economic inequality. Even as authorities clear encampments from high-profile business districts and tourist areas, many homeless individuals soon return to the streets, making the cycle difficult to break. City shelters are also overwhelmed with over 150,000 people currently relying on the shelter system for housing. While the city has tried to replace encampments with more permanent housing, such efforts often face resistance from residents, especially in wealthier neighborhoods that oppose the construction of shelters near their homes. This opposition complicates efforts to build much-needed housing solutions, leaving thousands with no safe place to go. Adding to the complexity is the issue of mole people, an elusive group of individuals estimated to number anywhere between 5,000 and 25,000. These individuals live hidden within the city's labyrinth of subway tunnels and utility corridors, creating small underground communities far from the public eye. Some reside in extremely dangerous areas, such as near live electrical tracks, underscoring the precariousness of their situation. The existence of these underground dwellers symbolizes not only the physical displacement of the homeless, but also the social invisibility that keeps them on the margins of society. Addressing the crisis, government and community efforts. The homelessness crisis in New York State is multifaceted, requiring comprehensive solutions that address both immediate needs and long-term systemic issues. Government initiatives, nonprofit organizations, and community efforts all play pivotal roles in tackling this challenge. Local and state governments have launched various programs aimed at reducing homelessness. Initiatives like the Housing First model prioritize providing stable housing as a foundation for addressing other issues such as employment, healthcare, and education. The Albany Project HOPE is one such effort that seeks to offer rapid intervention services to those experiencing homelessness, helping them transition into stable living conditions. However, these programs often face significant obstacles, including budgetary constraints and limited resources. Despite the best intentions, the scale of the homelessness crisis can overwhelm existing support systems, leading to gaps in service and inadequate coverage for those in need. Nonprofit organizations are critical in filling the gaps left by government programs. Organizations like People's Path in Staten Island provide essential services including food, clothing, medical care, and job training. These organizations often operate on tight budgets and rely heavily on community support and donations to sustain their efforts. In Rochester, nonprofits have been instrumental in addressing the immediate needs of the homeless population, even as they advocate for more sustainable long-term solutions. The dismantling of Peace Village highlighted the urgent need for comprehensive plans that go beyond temporary relocations, emphasizing the importance of collaboration between government bodies and nonprofit organizations. community involvement is essential in combating homelessness. Local residents, businesses, and volunteers contribute to various initiatives, from donating supplies to participating in advocacy efforts aimed at influencing policy changes. In Brooklyn, for example, small business owners in Sunset Park have voiced their concerns about the increasing visibility of homelessness, prompting community-driven discussions on how to balance economic growth with social responsibility. Moreover, public awareness campaigns and educational programs help destigmatize homelessness, fostering a more compassionate and supportive environment for those affected. By engaging the community, cities can create a more inclusive approach to solving the homelessness crisis. Educational and preventive measures. Addressing homelessness also involves educational and preventive strategies aimed at tackling the root causes of the issue. Efforts to provide education and job training to homeless individuals can empower them to achieve self-sufficiency and reintegrate into society. Additionally, preventive measures such as rental assistance programs and affordable housing initiatives aim to reduce the risk of individuals and families becoming homeless in the first place. Like technological innovations. In the modern age, technological innovations offer new avenues for addressing homelessness. Mobile applications and online platforms can connect homeless individuals with resources, shelters, and job opportunities more efficiently. Data analytics can help governments and organizations identify trends, allocate resources more effectively, and measure the impact of various initiatives. The role of mental health services. A significant proportion of the homeless population struggles with mental health issues, substance abuse, and other personal challenges. Providing accessible mental health services is crucial in helping individuals overcome these barriers and achieve stability. Integrating mental health support with housing initiatives can create a more holistic approach to addressing homelessness. The importance of affordable housing. At the heart of the homelessness crisis is the lack of affordable housing. Rising rent prices and limited availability of low-cost housing options force many individuals and families into homelessness. Addressing this issue requires a multi-pronged approach, including increasing the supply of affordable housing, implementing rent control measures, and offering subsidies to those in need. Policy recommendations. To effectively combat homelessness, policymakers must adopt comprehensive strategies that encompass housing, healthcare, education, and economic support. This includes expanding affordable housing by investing in the construction and maintenance of affordable housing units to meet the growing demand. Enhancing support services is crucial, providing integrated services that address the diverse needs of the homeless population, including mental health care, job training, and substance abuse treatment. Additionally, strengthening preventive measures by implementing policies that prevent homelessness, such as eviction prevention programs and rental assistance, is essential. Fostering community partnerships by encouraging collaboration between government agencies, nonprofit organizations, and community groups will create a unified response to homelessness. Finally, promoting public awareness through educating the public about the realities of homelessness can reduce stigma and encourage supportive actions. Conclusion. Homelessness in New York State is a complex and multifaceted issue that requires a holistic and sustained effort to address. From Syracuse to Manhattan, each city faces unique challenges but also shares common struggles in combating this crisis. Through government initiatives, nonprofit organizations, community efforts, and innovative solutions, progress can be made towards reducing homelessness and providing stable, supportive environments for those in need. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to live without a permanent home in one of the world's most iconic cities? Understanding the human stories behind the statistics can foster empathy and drive collective action. What more can we do to support our fellow citizens facing homelessness? As we continue our travel documentary series, we aim to shed light on these critical issues and inspire positive change. If you found this documentary insightful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel for more in-depth explorations of the world's most pressing social issues. Your support helps us bring these important stories to a wider audience, fostering a more informed and compassionate community. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for our next travel documentary, where we explore another facet of urban life and the challenges that come with it. This is Daily Homeless News, where tell the stories no one else will. Germany, a land known for its deep-rooted history, bustling cities, and economic strength, is quietly grappling with a growing crisis that often slips beneath the surface: homelessness. In this travel documentary, we shed light on the reality of homelessness in Germany today, examining its root causes, the daily struggles faced by those without shelter, and the efforts underway to combat this complex social issue. As we navigate through some of Germany's most iconic cities, we'll uncover the layers behind the statistics, offering a closer look at the human stories often left untold. But before we dive into this powerful journey, don't forget to hit the like button, leave us a comment to share your perspective, and subscribe to our channel. Your engagement empowers us to continue bringing attention to important stories and building a community committed to awareness and change. Current state of homelessness in Germany. As of 2024, Germany faces a growing crisis with an estimated 678,000 individuals experiencing homelessness. This figure has steadily climbed over the past decade, highlighting deeper economic and social strains. The homeless population in Germany is remarkably diverse, ranging from families and single adults to veterans and young people displaced by a variety of personal and systemic challenges. In major cities like Berlin, Munich, and Hamburg, the contrast is striking. Thriving urban wealth stands in sharp opposition to those living on the margins. These visible disparities prompt urgent reflection on national priorities and call into question the strength and reach of existing support systems. Causes leading to homelessness. Understanding what drives people into homelessness is key to truly tackling the problem. In Germany, the issue is shaped by multiple interconnected factors. Economic insecurity is a major one. Even in a robust economy, people can still lose their jobs, face stagnant wages, or struggle to find affordable housing. These challenges are especially intense in large cities, where the cost of living continues to rise, putting stable housing out of reach for many low-income individuals. After losing their jobs due to the COVID-19 pandemic, many young people in Germany were forced into homelessness. With no way to afford rent, they now live in makeshift tents, struggling to survive in a society that seems to have left them behind. Mental health challenges play a crucial role in the issue of homelessness. A large segment of the homeless community suffers from mental health disorders, often lacking access to the vital support systems they need. Without appropriate care and resources, maintaining steady employment and stable housing becomes extremely difficult, trapping many in a continuous cycle of homelessness. The situation is further complicated by substance abuse, as addiction frequently results in job loss and eviction. This creates a destructive loop that's nearly impossible to escape without holistic and long-term treatment solutions. Sarah is a brave woman living on the streets in Krefeld, earning her living by selling drugs. Life is anything but easy for her, as she receives no financial support from the state and has no health insurance. Since her husband was imprisoned, she has had to fend for herself on the streets. She has already suffered terrible experiences, including being robbed and even beaten. Sarah's story is a sad example of how people can find themselves in difficult situations and how urgent it is to help them. Hopefully, Sarah will find the support she needs in the future to get out of this desperate situation and lead a better life. Daily life of the homeless. Life on the streets for Germany's homeless population is a relentless battle. Each day presents new hurdles: finding a safe place to sleep, securing a warm meal, and braving the unforgiving weather. Many depend on shelters that offer short-term lodging, food, and essential supplies. Yet, these facilities are often overwhelmed, particularly in the winter months, when the need spikes and space becomes scarce. Overcrowding and resource shortages are common. On top of that, accessing healthcare remains a major obstacle. Countless individuals suffer from chronic diseases, mental health issues, and untreated injuries, yet have little to no reliable medical support. Safety is a critical issue for people experiencing homelessness. Life on the streets often leaves them vulnerable to violence, theft, and exploitation, turning personal safety into a daily struggle. On top of that, barriers to employment make it incredibly hard for those without stable housing to secure and hold on to jobs. The lack of a permanent address and limited access to essential resources only deepens the challenge, reinforcing the cycle of homelessness. A typical example is Fabian, who has lived on the streets for 7 years. In recent years, homeless people like him have been increasingly pushed out of city centers to make way for tourism. Homelessness in Germany's largest cities brings with it a complex web of challenges and circumstances. Each urban center has its own unique story to tell when it comes to this pressing issue. Let's dive deeper into how homelessness takes shape across these major hubs. Berlin, the energetic heart of Germany, is witnessing a rise in its homeless population, an unsettling contrast to its booming economy and rich cultural scene. Amid the city's famous nightlife and vibrant events, the reality of those living without shelter often goes unnoticed. Public spaces like Alexanderplatz and Tiergarten Park have become visible hubs for many seeking refuge and a sense of connection, revealing a quieter, more somber side of Berlin's dynamic streets. While mobile clinics, outreach teams, and temporary shelters offer some level of support, Berlin continues to face an overwhelming homelessness crisis. The city's severe housing shortage and escalating rent prices deepen the problem, pushing many individuals into a relentless cycle of instability. Efforts like social housing initiatives and job training programs point in the right direction, but lasting change will require more comprehensive strategies that tackle both the root causes and the everyday struggles endured by Berlin's homeless community. Hamburg, a bustling port city, draws in a steady stream of migrants, many of whom struggle to find stable housing and employment. The homelessness crisis here is especially severe among newcomers, who often find themselves entangled in complex bureaucracy that blocks access to vital services. Overcrowded shelters frequently reach full capacity, forcing many to spend their nights in parks or on the streets. In the Reeperbahn district, famous for its vibrant nightlife, the presence of homelessness is particularly stark, exposing the jarring divide between affluence and poverty in one of the city's most energetic neighborhoods. Hamburg's homeless community includes a large portion of individuals battling addiction and mental health challenges, underscoring the urgent need for more targeted and specialized support services. Although local charities and social initiatives offer crucial assistance, there's an increasing awareness that broader systemic reforms are essential to provide lasting housing solutions and holistic care for vulnerable populations. Government solutions to homelessness. The German government has taken a multifaceted approach to addressing homelessness, focusing on prevention, assistance, and long-term reintegration. At the heart of these efforts is the expansion of affordable housing. Initiatives are in place to encourage the development of low-cost apartments and offer financial aid to individuals and families in need. The goal is to guarantee access to safe, affordable living spaces for all. In addition, the government integrates essential services such as mental health care, addiction recovery programs, and vocational training into its homelessness response. This holistic approach targets the underlying causes of homelessness, helping individuals regain stability and rebuild their lives. Legal protections for homeless individuals have been significantly reinforced, aiming to uphold their rights and prevent discrimination in both housing and employment. Measures like the Right to Housing Act are designed to preserve the dignity and human rights of those facing homelessness. A coordinated approach involving partnerships with non-governmental organizations has enhanced the overall effectiveness of the response, blending the resources and expertise of both public and private sectors. Groups such as Caritas and Die Tafel are instrumental in delivering vital services and advocacy, underlining the power of collective action in tackling complex social challenges. Examining these government initiatives offers valuable insight into the intricacies of policy development and the critical need for ongoing commitment to addressing social issues. Shelters and support centers. Shelters and support centers are essential lifelines for people experiencing homelessness, offering critical assistance when it's needed most. Across Germany, a range of shelters addresses diverse needs. Emergency shelters provide short-term housing, meals, and basic care, especially vital during harsh weather. Transitional shelters go a step further, offering extended stays along with social services designed to help individuals regain stability and reintegrate into society. Additionally, there are specialized shelters tailored to the unique needs of certain groups, including families with children, military veterans, and individuals facing mental health challenges. Spending time at a shelter can offer powerful insight into the daily struggles of the homeless and the support mechanisms working to help them. These visits shine a light on the importance of community-based resources and the ongoing demand for comprehensive, compassionate support systems.
Something to do, you just sign out and let them know. Hi, baby. Yeah. So,
In the tent, did you have a shower?
no, we used to have.
The role of nonprofit organizations. Nonprofit organizations play a crucial part in combating homelessness in Germany by delivering vital services, pushing for legislative reforms, and amplifying the voices of the homeless. Among these groups, Caritas Germany emerges as one of the nation's most prominent charities. They offer a broad spectrum of assistance, ranging from emergency shelter to in-depth job training initiatives. Caritas is instrumental in guaranteeing that those facing homelessness can access the support they need and have opportunities to reintegrate into society. Across Germany, Die Tafel, food banks, play a vital role in supporting the homeless community by providing essential food and supplies. Through their efforts, they help meet the immediate needs of individuals facing hunger, contributing significantly to their overall health and well-being. In parallel, Selbsthilfegruppen, self-help groups, offer a powerful source of emotional and practical support. These groups create a safe space for homeless individuals to connect, share experiences, and exchange resources. By fostering a strong sense of community, they empower members on their journey toward recovery and reintegration into society. Shining a light on the efforts of these organizations highlights the crucial role communities play in tackling homelessness while reinforcing the power of united action. It drives home the message that real lasting change depends on the active involvement and dedication of every part of society. By working together, nonprofits, government bodies, and everyday citizens, we can build a more compassionate and effective approach to ending homelessness. Innovative solutions and future directions. Tackling homelessness calls for creative, multi-layered strategies, and Germany is actively pursuing several innovative paths to address this urgent challenge. One standout initiative is the development of tiny house villages, compact, low-cost homes designed to provide both safety and a sense of autonomy. These communities not only offer residents a secure and dignified place to live, but also foster meaningful social connections. By encouraging interaction and mutual support, tiny house villages play a crucial role in enhancing residents' quality of life and supporting their journey toward reintegration into society. In addition, mobile support services are now being deployed to deliver healthcare, counseling, and job training directly to individuals experiencing homelessness, eliminating many of the traditional barriers to getting help. These mobile units bring essential services to those who might otherwise slip through the cracks. Another creative approach lies in social enterprises, which offer meaningful employment opportunities tailored specifically for the homeless community, empowering individuals to rebuild their lives through work and purpose. By creating job opportunities and fostering skill development, these initiatives do more than just provide income. They instill a sense of purpose and self-worth, helping individuals regain confidence and envision a brighter future. Collectively, these approaches embody innovative solutions to deeply rooted social challenges and inspire optimism for a world with less homelessness. With a willingness to embrace such forward-thinking strategies, Germany has the potential to make meaningful progress in addressing the underlying causes of homelessness and building lasting support systems for those in need. Challenges and obstacles. Despite continued efforts, numerous challenges still stand in the way of effectively reducing homelessness in Germany. A primary barrier is the lack of sufficient funding. Expanding support services and launching new programs depends heavily on financial resources, yet tight budgets frequently stall these initiatives. Ensuring reliable and adequate funding is key to maintaining and strengthening long-term homelessness assistance programs. Another major hurdle is the stigma surrounding homelessness. The negative perceptions often associated with being homeless can discourage individuals from reaching out for help and make communities hesitant to support initiatives aimed at addressing the issue. To counter this, consistent public education and awareness efforts are vital to build compassion and shift mindsets. Bureaucratic red tape is another significant barrier. Lengthy and complicated administrative procedures can slow down access to critical services, leaving those in crisis without timely support. Simplifying these systems is crucial to delivering assistance swiftly and effectively. These challenges underscore the need for collective action. Society must play an active role in breaking down barriers, promoting empathy, and shaping a more supportive and inclusive environment for the homeless. The impact of COVID-19. The COVID-19 pandemic left a deep and often devastating mark on homelessness in Germany, intensifying the struggles already faced by at-risk communities. As economic uncertainty surged, countless individuals teetering on the edge of homelessness were pushed into it by job losses, shuttered businesses, and shrinking social support systems. The crisis was further worsened by serious health threats, with the homeless population facing significantly higher risk of infection due to overcrowded shelters and limited access to hygiene facilities and medical care. For many, finding a space that was both safe and sanitary became nearly impossible. Shelters were stretched beyond capacity, and implementing physical distancing, a key strategy in stopping the spread, proved nearly unfeasible in such cramped conditions. The pandemic also laid bare the severe gaps in healthcare accessibility for homeless individuals, making the call for integrated medical support more urgent and necessary than ever before. Examining the impact of the pandemic offers crucial insights into crisis response, exposing the fragility of our current support systems. It underscores the need for strong, adaptable infrastructures that can respond swiftly to unexpected emergencies. The pandemic made it clear that being prepared and agile is vital when tackling complex social challenges like homelessness. Looking ahead, building systems that can endure future crises will be essential to protecting societies most vulnerable from their harshest consequences. Education and awareness. Raising awareness about homelessness is essential to building empathy and driving impactful change. Educational efforts are key in breaking down misconceptions, challenging stereotypes, and encouraging a more nuanced understanding of the complex causes behind homelessness. One compelling method is through public awareness campaigns. These use storytelling and media to spotlight individual experiences and share accurate information. By personalizing the issue, these campaigns shift public attitudes and inspire communities to take action. Other vital strategy involves incorporating homelessness education into school programs, where students can learn about the social, economic, and emotional dimensions of homelessness. Early education fosters empathy and social responsibility, helping shape a more compassionate and socially conscious generation ready to make a difference. Workshops and seminars serve as powerful platforms for community education, fostering environments where learning, open dialogue, and collaboration can thrive. These events equip individuals with the knowledge and tools needed to become part of the solution, encouraging active involvement in efforts to combat homelessness. By emphasizing education and raising awareness, we highlight the critical role that informed communities play in driving meaningful social change. When people are both knowledgeable and aware, they are far more likely to support and take part in initiatives designed to reduce homelessness, ultimately creating a lasting, positive impact. The future of homelessness in Germany. The future of homelessness in Germany will depend on consistent action, creative strategies, and strong societal commitment. A key priority is the development of sustainable housing solutions, long-term, affordable housing designed to stop the cycle of homelessness. These solutions need to be flexible and scalable, addressing the varied needs of those affected, including families, veterans, and refugees. Equally important is the expansion of enhanced support services, especially mental health care and addiction treatment, tailored to the complex realities of homelessness. Offering holistic support not only tackles the underlying issues, but also lays the groundwork for lasting stability as individuals work to rebuild their lives. Another pivotal focus lies in policy reform, targeting the root causes of homelessness, poverty, social exclusion, and the scarcity of affordable housing. These reforms must be grounded in solid evidence and remain adaptable to the shifting realities of homelessness in order to drive real change. Equally important is the emphasis on community empowerment. By nurturing grassroots initiatives that uplift individuals and foster a spirit of mutual aid, we can cultivate communities built on empathy and inclusion. In such an environment, people are more inclined to support one another, paving the way for a more just and compassionate society. What fresh, forward-thinking strategies do you believe could truly move the needle on homelessness in Germany? Conclusion: homelessness in Germany remains a complex and deeply rooted challenge, demanding a thoughtful and compassionate approach. By examining the current landscape, tackling its underlying causes, and pushing for impactful long-term solutions, we can move closer to easing this crisis and uplifting the lives of those it affects. As a travel documentary, highlighting this reality does more than just inform, It sparks awareness, empathy, and the drive for change. We appreciate you being part of this meaningful exploration. If this story resonated with you, please give the video a like, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to Daily Homeless News for more powerful, real-world stories that deserve to be told. This is Daily Homeless News, where it tells no one else will. In the heart of Philadelphia, beneath its bustling streets and historical landmarks, a crisis looms. Thousands of individuals struggle with homelessness each day, their lives often reduced to the cold corners of the city. Skid Row may be a term more commonly associated with Los Angeles, but Philadelphia has its own streets and neighborhoods where the homeless find themselves trapped in an unforgiving system. It's a reality that many people overlook, but one that can no longer be ignored. In today's episode, we will provide a comprehensive look at the homelessness crisis in Philadelphia. And if you want to learn more about homelessness in any other area or city, please let us know in the comments below, and we may cover that issue next. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to explore more stories from the shadows of society that not everyone knows about. The number of homeless people in Philadelphia has been rising for years, creating a vicious cycle that only seems to grow with time. Philadelphia is a city known for its rich history, vibrant culture, and diverse communities. However, like many major urban centers, it has become a reflection of the growing divide between the haves and the have-nots. With skyrocketing housing prices, lack of affordable living spaces, and a growing addiction crisis, the homeless population has surged to record numbers. As the city's population grows, so too does the number of people who are forced to live on the streets. Many are families who once held stable jobs, but rising rents and stagnant wages pushed them into situations where they could no longer afford their homes. There is also a significant increase in the number of individuals struggling with mental health issues and substance abuse, both of which further contribute to the crisis. A lack of affordable housing has led to many being priced out of the city's rental market, leaving them with no option but to seek shelter on the streets. The streets of Philadelphia, particularly in neighborhoods like Kensington and Center City, have become some of the most visible representations of the city's homelessness crisis. In Kensington, addictive substances use and homelessness are deeply intertwined, with many individuals struggling with addiction while also facing extreme poverty. The area has earned a grim reputation for its open-air banned substance markets and high rates of addiction, making it one of the hardest hit areas for homelessness in the city. However, the issue extends beyond Kensington. In Center City, where many of Philadelphia's landmarks and businesses are located, homelessness is also visible. Here, homelessness is often hidden in plain sight, with individuals forced to sleep in doorways, parks, or on the sidewalks. The problem is not confined to a specific area of the city. It affects nearly every neighborhood to some degree, creating a stark contrast between the city's wealth and the poverty that exists on its streets. Homelessness in Philadelphia is not just a matter of survival, it's a complex issue that affects every aspect of the city. It affects public health, as many homeless individuals lack access to basic hygiene, health care, and mental health support. It strains public resources, as the city's shelters and services are often overwhelmed. And it takes a toll on the community, creating a divide between those who live in stable homes and those who are forced to navigate a hostile world on the streets. In Philadelphia, the stark reality of homelessness is especially visible in neighborhoods like Kensington, where the crisis has reached alarming levels. This area has become synonymous with open-air banned substance markets, and its streets are filled with individuals who are struggling not only with the loss of a home, but also with addiction and untreated mental health issues. A place where the very essence of survival is a daily battle and the cycle of despair seems endless. Kensington's plight encapsulates the very worst elements of urban poverty: overcrowded streets, makeshift shelters, and a population that has been abandoned by the systems meant to protect them. However, Kensington is not an isolated example. The homelessness crisis in Philadelphia is not confined to one neighborhood, but is instead spreading throughout various parts of the city. The Center City District, home to Philadelphia's iconic landmarks and vibrant downtown, has also seen a troubling rise in homeless individuals. As gentrification continues to transform areas of the city, the visible divide between the affluent and the homeless becomes even starker. In what is supposed to be the economic and cultural heart of the city, people are forced to sleep on sidewalks, in doorways, and in public spaces. This growing homelessness problem is not just an eyesore or a challenge for city officials. It has deep, far-reaching consequences for everyone involved. The toll on the homeless themselves is undeniable. Without access to stable housing, health care, or support systems, their health deteriorates, both mentally and physically. Crime rates rise as desperation mounts and public health issues, such as the spread of infectious diseases, become more prevalent. For the broader community, the presence of such visible poverty affects the city's sense of safety and well-being, creating divisions and tensions between those who are struggling and those who remain unaffected by the crisis. The homelessness crisis in Philadelphia demands urgent, systemic changes. The city cannot continue to ignore the realities faced by its most vulnerable citizens. It is not just a matter of increasing the number of shelters or funding more temporary services. It is about addressing the root causes of homelessness, providing long-term solutions, and offering real support to help people rebuild their lives. The negative impact of homelessness on society in Philadelphia extends far beyond the visible presence of individuals living on the streets. The crisis carries profound social, economic, and public health consequences that cannot be ignored. First and foremost, the mental and physical health of homeless individuals deteriorates rapidly. Without access to proper health care, they are left to suffer from untreated conditions that only worsen over time. In the harsh winters, the cold can lead to frostbite, hypothermia, and even death. During the scorching summer months, dehydration, heat exhaustion, and heat stroke are common risks. These health issues are exacerbated by substance abuse, mental illness, and a lack of access to adequate shelter, food, and hygiene. Many homeless individuals experience ongoing trauma, which may have contributed to their situation in the first place, further entrenching them in the cycle of homelessness. The strain on Philadelphia's emergency services and public health systems is overwhelming. Hospitals, already stretched thin, are forced to treat individuals who are suffering from preventable conditions that could have been avoided with timely care. Ambulances are often dispatched to respond to health crises that result from homelessness, draining resources that could otherwise be used for urgent medical emergencies. Additionally, the city's mental health services are often overburdened with too few resources to address the complex psychological needs of homeless individuals. As the number of people requiring these services grows, the cost to taxpayers increases, further compounding the issue. Homelessness also creates a ripple effect throughout Philadelphia's social systems. The lack of stable housing leads to instability in families and communities, as children in homeless families often struggle in school, with some missing days due to the lack of a safe, permanent home. The visible presence of homelessness in urban areas creates a sense of insecurity and discomfort for residents and tourists alike, further dividing the community. People may feel fearful walking through certain neighborhoods, leading to social disengagement and a breakdown in communal trust. The far-reaching effects of homelessness in Philadelphia go beyond just the individuals living on the streets. It impacts everyone, from local residents to government services. Addressing this crisis requires a comprehensive and compassionate approach to support both the homeless population and the community at large. So what are the root causes of homelessness in Philadelphia, and how did we get to this point? One of the primary causes is the shortage of affordable housing. With rising rent prices, many families and individuals simply cannot afford to stay in their homes. For people living paycheck to paycheck, an unexpected expense or job loss can quickly lead to eviction and homelessness. Affordable housing projects in Philadelphia are few and far between, and those that exist often have long waiting lists, meaning that people who need housing today may not have access to it for months or even years. But housing costs are not the only factor. The opioid crisis, which has devastated communities across the country, has hit Philadelphia particularly hard. Kensington in particular has become ground zero for this epidemic. Addiction often leads to homelessness, as individuals who fall victim to substance abuse struggle to maintain stable jobs, housing, and relationships. With insufficient resources to support those battling addiction and mental health issues, the cycle of homelessness continues unabated. Additionally, the lack of sufficient mental health services in the city exacerbates the situation. Many homeless individuals are dealing with mental health issues such as depression, PTSD, and schizophrenia. Without proper care and treatment, these individuals are often left to fend for themselves on the streets. The mental health crisis in Philadelphia is one that is deeply intertwined with the homelessness issue. Their lives. However, these efforts need to be scaled up significantly. More needs to be done to address the lack of affordable housing and mental health services in the city. Additionally, there needs to be a stronger emphasis on prevention, ensuring that individuals and families at risk of homelessness are given the support they need before they fall through the cracks. The key to solving the homelessness crisis in Philadelphia lies in a comprehensive approach that tackles both the immediate needs of homeless individuals and the systemic issues that cause homelessness in the first place. Government intervention is crucial, but so too is the involvement of local communities, nonprofit organizations, and businesses. Communities can play a significant role in addressing homelessness by supporting local shelters, providing job training, and offering resources to help individuals get back on their feet. It's also essential for communities to shift their perceptions of the homeless. Instead of seeing them as burdens on society, we must view them as individuals who need help, compassion, and support. Public awareness and education campaigns can help reduce the stigma surrounding homelessness, making it easier for individuals to seek help without fear of judgment. The City of Philadelphia must also collaborate more with organizations that provide services to the homeless, such as health care, addiction treatment, and mental health counseling. Partnerships between the public and private sectors can lead to innovative solutions that better meet the needs of the homeless population. In addition, local businesses can play a role in offering employment opportunities to homeless individuals who are trying to get back on their feet. Job training programs, mentorship, and support for entrepreneurship could provide pathways out of homelessness for many. It is not enough to provide a bed and a meal. Helping homeless individuals regain their dignity through work and independence is a vital part of the solution. The key to addressing homelessness in Philadelphia is collaboration. No one organization, individual, or entity can solve this problem on its own. The government, businesses, and communities must work together to create lasting change and provide the resources necessary to help homeless individuals find stable housing, access health care, and rebuild their lives. Technology and innovation can play a pivotal role in tackling homelessness. Several cities across the U.S. are experimenting with innovative solutions such as digital platforms that connect homeless individuals with available shelter spaces, healthcare services, and job opportunities. In Philadelphia, leveraging data and technology could improve the city's ability to track homelessness and allocate resources more efficiently. For example, mobile apps could be developed to help homeless individuals find available shelter beds, locate food and hygiene resources, and access healthcare services. Furthermore, technology can help improve outreach efforts, making it easier for social workers and volunteers to connect with those living on the streets and provide timely assistance. Moreover, digital job training programs can be a game changer. Providing homeless individuals with access to digital skills training can prepare them for the growing tech industry, offering new employment opportunities that could help break the cycle of homelessness. What can we do as individuals to make a difference? As individuals, we can all take steps to contribute to the solution. While it may seem daunting, there are many ways we can make a difference. Donating to local shelters, volunteering our time, and supporting policies that aim to reduce homelessness are all impactful ways to contribute. Additionally, raising awareness about the causes and solutions to homelessness is crucial. By having conversations about homelessness, we can break down the stigma surrounding it and encourage others to take action. Small acts of kindness, such as offering food or resources to homeless individuals, can make a tangible difference in someone's life. We must also advocate for policies that address the root causes of homelessness, such as affordable housing and mental health services. Encouraging our local government to invest in long-term solutions is vital to solving this issue in the years to come. Conclusion. In conclusion, homelessness in Philadelphia is not just an isolated issue, but a growing crisis that demands immediate and comprehensive action. While the city has taken some steps towards alleviating the problem, such as offering temporary shelters and supporting various initiatives, these efforts remain insufficient in providing long-term solutions for the tens of thousands of individuals affected. The root causes, rising housing costs, lack of affordable living spaces, and the ongoing addiction and mental health crises must be addressed with a more robust and multifaceted approach. If this documentary gave you new insight, please like the video, leave a comment to share your perspective, and subscribe to our channel for more revealing journeys into the heart of the world's most compelling cities. Together, we can spark conversations, inspire change, and shine a light on the issues that matter. Thanks for joining us, and don't miss the next episode of our travel documentary series, where we continue to explore the powerful stories that shape our global community. This is Daily Homeless News, where Tell the Stories will. Welcome to Vancouver, the city of hell, where the homeless occupy every corner. They lie scattered across sidewalks, curbs, and even the narrowest alleys, turning the urban landscape into a haunting reflection of a crisis ignored. Homelessness in Vancouver has become more than just a social problem. It's an urban crisis that continues to grow despite efforts to combat it. The stark contrast between the wealth and opportunity Vancouver offers and the painful reality of its homeless population has become impossible to ignore. As Vancouver grapples with a growing homeless population, the question we must ask is this: why, in the heart of one of the wealthiest and most developed cities, are thousands of people sleeping scattered on the streets every night? Stay tuned until the end of this episode to uncover the most accurate and surprising answer. If you want to learn more about homelessness in any other area or city, please let us know in the comments below, and we may cover that issue next. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to explore more stories from the shadows of society. And this is Daily Homeless News, where tell the stories no one else will. Homelessness isn't just an isolated issue in Vancouver, but rather one that has been steadily growing over the years. In 2023, the annual homeless count revealed that the city's homeless population had risen to 2,420 people, with 605 of those being unsheltered. However, with no official reports for 2024 or 2025, this figure may not accurately reflect the current situation. An unofficial estimate from 2024 suggests the number could be higher, around 4,094, based on analysis of other data, but its reliability is disputed. These alarming statistics paint a grim picture of the state of Vancouver's housing crisis and reflect a broader issue that has plagued not only Vancouver, but many other major cities across Canada. The downtown east side, ETs, is one of the most iconic neighborhoods in Vancouver, and unfortunately also one of the most notorious for its high rates of homelessness. The area, which is home to many of Vancouver's poorest residents, has long struggled with poverty, addiction, and inadequate housing. This is where the city's homeless crisis is most visible. On a walk through the streets of the DTES, you'll see tents, makeshift shelters, and a sense of despair that is impossible to ignore. It's here that homelessness takes on a deeply human dimension, as people's stories are written on the streets they occupy. In 2023, the Carnegie Housing Project, which works to address homelessness in Vancouver, identified that there were more than 605 unsheltered individuals living in tents and makeshift camps. These people are often forced to live in unsafe conditions with limited access to basic necessities such as clean water, sanitation, or medical care. The growing number of people living in tents and temporary shelters is a visible sign of the city's failure to provide adequate housing for all its residents. As the homeless population grows, so does the social impact. Communities in neighborhoods like DTS face significant public health challenges. The risk of communicable diseases, mental health issues, and substance abuse is higher among those living without stable shelter. Many people on the streets have nowhere to go for medical care, and even those who try to access resources often face barriers due to the lack of support systems in place. Mental health issues, including depression, anxiety, and trauma, are widespread in the homeless community, but treatment and support services are often difficult to access. Vancouver's social safety net is under significant strain as the city grapples with a growing homelessness crisis. Despite ongoing efforts, the availability of shelters, healthcare services, and social support remains insufficient to meet the needs of the homeless population. This shortage is compounded by persistent issues such as unemployment and poverty, which continue to drive individuals into homelessness. In 2024, Vancouver reported a 5% increase in homelessness, with 1,366 individuals experiencing homelessness. Notably, for the first time in 6 years, more people were sheltered than unsheltered, indicating some progress in providing housing solutions. However, the city still faces significant challenges, including a 29% increase in deaths among the homeless population compared to the previous year. The shortage of social services exacerbates the situation. While the provincial government has added shelter beds and emergency housing units, these measures are often temporary and insufficient. For example, the addition of 2 new shelters in Vancouver was a step toward providing safe spaces for the homeless, but the overall capacity remains limited. Moreover, many existing shelters are operating at full capacity, especially during extreme weather conditions, leaving some individuals without access to basic necessities. Unemployment and poverty are significant contributors to homelessness in Vancouver. As of December 2024, the unemployment rate in the Vancouver economic region stood at 6.7%, with youth unemployment at a concerning 14.4%. Additionally, approximately 16.1% of children in the Vancouver census metropolitan area lived in poverty, with many census tracts reporting child poverty rates exceeding 10%. These economic challenges make it increasingly difficult for individuals and families to secure and maintain stable housing. The combination of limited social services and economic hardship creates a cycle that is difficult to break. Without adequate support systems, individuals facing unemployment or poverty are at a higher risk of becoming homeless. Addressing this issue requires a comprehensive approach that includes expanding affordable housing, increasing access to healthcare and social services, and implementing policies that address the root causes of poverty and unemployment. Vancouver's homelessness crisis is deeply intertwined with gaps in social services and persistent economic challenges. Although there have been some positive developments, they are still not enough to break this vicious cycle. Before we answer that question, let's take a look at some of the key hotspots in Vancouver's homelessness crisis. While downtown Eastside is perhaps the most notorious hotspot for homelessness, other areas of Vancouver have seen a rise in encampments and unsheltered individuals as well. These include parts of West Vancouver, East Vancouver, and even areas around the University of British Columbia. Despite being known for their affluence and proximity to some of the most desirable real estate in the world, these areas are increasingly home to people who struggle to secure stable housing. The situation has led to visible tensions between residents of these areas and the homeless population. In affluent neighborhoods like West Vancouver, residents have begun to voice their concerns over the rise in homelessness in their communities. The presence of tents on public sidewalks or near schools and parks has sparked debates over how to balance the rights of the homeless with those of property owners and residents who feel their safety and quality of life are being compromised. These conflicts underscore the complexity of Vancouver's homelessness issue. It's not simply about the growing numbers of people living on the streets. It's also about the strain that this situation puts on city infrastructure, public health systems, and the community at large. Addressing homelessness requires a multifaceted approach, one that takes into account not only the immediate needs of the homeless, but also the long-term impacts on the community as a whole. As Vancouver's homeless population continues to rise, the pressure on public resources and social services has become increasingly unbearable. Emergency services, healthcare systems, and social welfare programs are all feeling the strain, and the gap between the growing need and available resources is widening. The city's rapid urbanization and high cost of living have made it more difficult for people to maintain stable housing, pushing more individuals into homelessness. This crisis demands urgent attention, but the response thus far has been insufficient to meet the sheer scale of the problem. The demand for shelter spaces, food programs, and emergency housing has skyrocketed, forcing the city to allocate more funds to these areas. Yet, despite increased funding, many of Vancouver's shelters remain at full capacity, and wait lists for available spots grow longer each year. Emergency shelters, while vital, are often only a temporary solution. They provide basic shelter, but fail to address the root causes of homelessness, such as mental health issues, substance abuse, and the absence of affordable housing. As a result, many individuals find themselves cycling through shelters with no permanent place to call home. In addition to shelter and food programs, Vancouver's healthcare system is under considerable strain due to the growing homeless population. Many of the homeless face chronic health conditions that often go untreated as they lack access to primary care and specialized health services. The homeless are more vulnerable to infectious diseases including tuberculosis, hepatitis C, and HIV, as well as mental health conditions such as depression, anxiety, and post-traumatic stress disorder. Yet, the healthcare system struggles to keep pace with the demand for services. The result is that many homeless individuals remain without necessary medical treatment, which only worsens their overall quality of life. Social services designed to assist the homeless population, such as mental health support and addiction treatment programs, are also woefully inadequate. While some efforts have been made to expand these services, they remain insufficient given the scale of the issue. Mental health crises and substance abuse issues are prevalent among the homeless, yet the resources to address these challenges remain limited. Without access to appropriate treatment, homeless individuals often turn to emergency services, further burdening the system and creating a cycle of dependence that is difficult to break. Furthermore, homelessness places a tremendous burden on law enforcement and emergency responders. Police officers are frequently called to address situations involving homeless individuals who are experiencing mental health crises or struggling with substance abuse. The lack of supportive housing and mental health programs further exacerbates these situations, leading to a cycle of criminalization for individuals who are already marginalized. Instead of receiving the care they need, many homeless individuals are arrested for non-violent offenses, further entrenching their status as outsiders and reinforcing social stigma. Public safety concerns are also on the rise due to the growth of the homeless population. One of the most pressing issues is the increased risk of the spread of infectious diseases. Without access to sanitation facilities, many individuals living in tents or makeshift shelters are exposed to unsanitary conditions that heighten the risk of disease transmission. The lack of clean water, public toilets, and waste disposal systems in homeless encampments contributes to the spread of infections. not only among the homeless, but also within the general public. This puts additional strain on public health systems and creates a broader societal risk. The root causes of Vancouver's homelessness crisis To truly understand Vancouver's homelessness crisis, we must look at the root causes. While there are numerous factors at play, some of the most significant contributors include the affordability of housing, a lack of mental health support, and substance abuse issues. The primary driver of homelessness in Vancouver is the high cost of housing. Vancouver is consistently ranked as one of the most expensive cities in the world when it comes to real estate. According to a 2023 report by the Real Estate Board of Greater Vancouver, the benchmark price for a detached home in the city reached $2.8 million, while the average monthly rent for a one-bedroom apartment in Vancouver is now well over $2,000. For many people, this makes it impossible to afford rent or purchase a home. Another key factor is the lack of mental health and addiction support services. Many individuals who experience homelessness also suffer from mental health issues or substance abuse. However, the resources available to help these individuals are often inadequate. Mental health services are stretched thin, and addiction treatment programs are often difficult to access due to long wait lists and a lack of funding. This leaves many people with nowhere to turn, leading them to live on the streets where they can't get the support they need to improve their lives. Finally, systemic issues such as poverty, unemployment, and the lack of affordable housing continue to contribute to the growing homeless population. The increasing number of people living paycheck to paycheck, unable to afford even basic necessities, only adds to the strain on the city's resources. As these challenges persist, the homeless population continues to grow, leaving many without hope for a better future. Recognizing the severity of the problem, the government of Vancouver and the provincial government of British Columbia have made several attempts to address homelessness. In recent years, the city has taken steps to implement solutions that focus on increasing the availability of affordable housing and improving access to mental health and addiction services. One of the most notable initiatives is the Housing Vancouver 3-year action plan, which aims to build more affordable housing units and provide greater access to social and supportive housing. The city has also launched several